How reading changes brain. Reading is a complex activity that engages multiple regions of the brain, including the visual processing centers, language processing areas, and areas responsible for memory and comprehension. As a person reads, they are processing and interpreting the visual information on the page, recognizing words and phrases, and using their language processing centers to make sense of the meaning behind the text. The brain is constantly making connections between different pieces of information, integrating new knowledge with what is already known, and creating mental images that can aid in understanding. One of the key ways that reading changes the brain is by increasing the density of white matter in the brain. White matter is composed of myelinated axons, which form the connections between different regions of the brain. By increasing the density of these connections, reading can improve the connectivity of the brain, leading to better cognitive function and problem-solving abilities. Reading can also have a significant impact on the function of the brain's language processing areas. The Broca's area and Wernicke's area, located in the frontal and temporal lobes respectively, are responsible for language comprehension, production, and interpretation. As a person reads, they are engaging these regions of the brain, which can improve language skills and communication abilities. In addition to these structural changes, reading has also been shown to have a significant impact on the release of neurotransmitters in the brain. One of the key neurotransmitters associated with reading is dopamine, which is responsible for feelings of pleasure and reward. When a person reads and comprehends a piece of text, the brain releases dopamine, which can make reading a pleasurable and enjoyable activity. Beyond these cognitive benefits, reading can also have a significant impact on mental health and well-being. Studies have shown that reading can reduce stress and anxiety, which can lead to improved mental health outcomes. Additionally, reading can stimulate the imagination and encourage creativity, which can have a positive impact on overall well-being. How reading improves brain functions. Reading is a great way to improve brain function and enhance cognitive abilities. There are many ways in which reading can benefit the brain, and it's important to understand the benefits of reading to fully appreciate its value. One of the most important ways in which reading improves brain function is by increasing connectivity. Reading requires the brain to process information from multiple sources, which helps to strengthen the connections between different regions of the brain. This increased connectivity can improve problem-solving abilities and overall cognitive function. Reading also helps to improve language skills, particularly in regards to vocabulary, grammar, and syntax. When we read, we are exposed to new words and phrases, which can help to expand our vocabulary and improve our communication abilities. Additionally, reading comprehension requires us to engage with the language in a meaningful way, which can help to improve our ability to write and speak effectively. Another benefit of reading is improved memory function. Reading requires the brain to store and recall information, which can help to improve both short-term and long-term memory. This can be particularly beneficial for older adults who may be experiencing cognitive decline, as reading can help to slow or prevent this decline. Reading also has emotional benefits, particularly in regards to empathy and stress reduction. Reading fiction can help us to develop empathy and emotional intelligence by exposing us to characters and stories that are different from our own experiences. Additionally, reading has been shown to reduce stress and anxiety, which can have a positive impact on mental health. Finally, reading is a great way to improve cognitive function overall. By engaging in complex and dynamic processes such as attention, memory, and problem-solving, we can improve our cognitive abilities and enhance our ability to learn and process new information. In summary, reading is a valuable activity that can benefit the brain in many ways. Whether you're reading for pleasure, education, or personal growth, you can be confident that you are engaging in an activity that is promoting positive changes in your brain. How does reading works in the brain? Reading is a complex process that involves multiple regions of the brain working together to decode and comprehend written language. When we read, our brains go through several stages to process and understand the information on the page. First, the visual cortex at the back of the brain processes the visual information from the text. This allows us to see and recognize the individual letters and words on the page. Then, the brain moves on to the next stage, phonological processing. This involves translating the letters into the sounds they represent. For example, when we read the word cat, we sound out the C, A, and T to create the sound of the word. Next, the brain moves on to semantic processing. This involves understanding the meaning of the words and sentences we are reading. For example, if we read the sentence, "The cat chased the mouse," we understand that the cat is the subject of the sentence, the mouse is the object, and the cat is performing the action of chasing the mouse. Finally, we engage in syntactic processing, which involves understanding the grammar and structure of the sentences we are reading. This allows us to understand the relationships between words and create a coherent understanding of the text. As we read, our brains also use context clues to help us understand unfamiliar words and concepts. For example, if we read a sentence about a quintessential New Yorker, we might not know exactly what quintessential means, but we can use our knowledge of New York City and the people who live there to make an educated guess. Additionally, reading can activate different regions of the brain based on the content of the text. For example, reading a suspenseful thriller might activate the amygdala, which is responsible for processing emotions and the fight or flight response. Meanwhile, reading a descriptive passage about a beautiful landscape might activate the visual centers of the brain and create a vivid mental image. Overall, reading is a complex and multifaceted process that engages multiple regions of the brain and requires us to use a variety of cognitive skills. By regularly engaging in reading, we can improve our cognitive abilities and enhance our ability to process and understand new information.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends so we can keep making them. For more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and remember to click on the notification bell. Also, be sure to check out our other videos as well.